Hey guys, Dib the Awesome here to give you another Monster Legends Guides where we talk about monsters' moves, their rune sets, partners, all that jazz. Today we're talking about Olafur. I believe he's gonna be part of the Christmas Maze event, or he's rumored to be. I really have no idea. Odds are he is, and it's really weird because he doesn't look like a Christmas monster. He looks really weird. He looks like a Scandinavian. I really don't know what this guy is based on. He's obviously a giant. I don't know what he's based on though. But yeah, I don't know if he's based on a specific giant or something like that. But yeah, he is a giant, and I don't know why he would be part of a like when a Christmas maze event. Is it not a Christmas maze? It might be a winter maze. It's probably that because it's in the description it says winter and stuff like that, and with all these other monsters, like these are all the upcoming maze monsters. I wonder what other monsters there will be, but it's seemingly being like it's gonna be a winter monster. It's gonna be a winter maze, not a Christmas maze. Well, basically, you can't say it's a Christmas maze. It's just really weird. This is his child, teenager, and adult. Yeah, and that's, yeah. His power is 3,267. This is a fairly low power. And this power actually does hurt him because he is kind of like, he's more so supportive. I will say he's supportive damage. And he doesn't have too high of moves that do damage and stuff. He's like tanky damage, but he needs runes. He needs high level runes to patch up his damage. And stuff like that. He does need high level runes to patch up this power. You will need to do that, especially if you're just running a level 100 Olafur. You do need level high runes to run this monster. It just suffers bad. It just suffers from poor or bad like base stats. It's just too poor. His life is 34,985. This is almost close to 35,000 hit points. This is pretty good. I will kid you not, this life is pretty good. He's very tanky. He's a very tanky monster. He could take a lot. He's a giant. Yeah. Speed is 3,300. This guy's actually pretty slow, and this actually hurts his setup. He actually has his kit is kind of reliant on having speed, and he doesn't have speed. At least for like level 100. Level 110, he does get some speed. I'll show you guys the 110 stats real quick. These are his 110 stats. He's got decent power. He finally gets decent power at that level. He gets very good life, 42,293 life, and his speed is 33,600 speed. That's acceptable speed. That works. But yeah, at the moment, it doesn't work. It doesn't work for him right now. These are 105. If you're interested in the 105 stats, these are his stats at 105. So these are usable. This is like the minimum. You should probably get this guy to 105 at the very least to use him in Team Wars. These are just better base stats. So we got his ultimate ooh ooh woo hoo ooh ooh. All of his moves are caveman like, which is weird. This does insane damage, insane special damage to all enemies, requires no cooldown, obviously it's his ultimate, and it costs no stamina. This is a pretty good ultimate, it does damage. If you did full damage on this thing, it'll kill, it'll just destroy everything. It's very heavy hitting. uh, Grown. That's funny because I didn't even read I was literally just looking over the words. I didn't even notice the, jeez. I said grown. I read grown, but yeah, I was literally thinking about when I did and grown. But yeah, none of these are good moves. This is his special damage move. Grr deals heavy special damage, gains a 50% shield. Requires cooldown. You can run this move. I will say this move is fairly runnable. 50% shield. That's a big shield. That's half your hit points, and this guy has a lot of hit points, which is really nice. Grunt deals low earth damage to all enemies, removes all positive effects from all targets, requires cooldown. This is a relevant move. This move is really good. You should totally save this move when Atum does his shit, or when any earth monster does their big defensive move. Do use this move, or any buff in general that will end the game. You do want to use this at that time. Use this move. This move is pretty relevant. Use Grunt. Removes all positive status effects from the enemy. Just run it. It's really good. This next move is this is his signature move. This is the move that everybody would be hyped about. But his space speed is just too bad. or it's just not good at the moment. At the level right now, it's just not great. But yeah, this is a really good move. I will say if you can get the just the proper setup, this is a really good move. This deals deals heavy earth damage, gives immunity to daze, freeze, and possessions to itself. Requires cooldown. So basically, he's immune to freeze for 2 turns. He's immune to possessions for 3, and he's immune to daze for 2. So basically, if you do use this move before anything else happens, you're basically immune to everything. There's no like oh this could happen. You're basically immune to all forms of solid deny, except of course stamina drain. So you probably want to run Demise with this thing. I will say that Demise is probably a really good idea, so that way you can use this move, you become immune to everything, or you can just try to be faster than everything. You could either run full speed, just to be immune to all stunning. You could do that, but you lose damage at that point. This guy doesn't have many damaging moves. I mean, all of them are on cooldown, so that kind of hurts him. It hurts him a lot. So you should probably run this move. You don't have to run it, but you can. Honestly, this is an optional move. You can run it. Some would argue it is his best move, so you should probably run it. It gives immunity to freeze, it gives immunity to possession, so it's good in a magic war, it's good in a freezing war. But you need to be able to move. You have to use this move before that happens, which is kind of taxing. Oomph deals heavy special damage, requires cooldown. This is a 50 damage move. It's 2 turn cooldowns. You can run. I would say it's an option. You can run it. This is Ugh. Deals heavy earth damage, may stun target, requires cooldown. It's on a single turn cooldown. You can run this move. This is also an optional move. You can pretty much everything. Like I think with this one, you can run everything in skill groups 3, and everything else is like an option. This is actually I think this might actually be the best return damage move in the game. Well, obviously not in terms of just damage, but just in terms of percentage. I don't think there's 100%. There might be 100% return damage, but if there isn't, this is the next best thing. It's a 75% return damage move. It's too bad because if you do run this move, you can't run the shield. You can't run the shield and stuff like that. Sorry, that was just my phone. But you can't run the shield. If you do run Wii, you can't run the shield move because it doesn't combo well. Or like the big shield, like if you use Wii, it only ever the damage return only ever works if you're not running a shield. It's something you have to do. So Wii's probably not worth running. So in all honesty, the set I would have you run. I'd have you run Gur because it makes them tanky. 50% shield is actually pretty relevant on this thing because of, the cooldowns. You have to wait before you can do anything more relevant, which is nice. So you do want to run Gur. You want to run Grunt because just to remove all the positive status effects, so they can they can't stall you out. You do want to use this at the right time. Use this when stalling happens. You do want to do it at that time. This deals heavy earth damage. Obviously, I just gave the description. You do want to run this move too, just in case of the situation, just in case you get frozen, just in case you get stunned. If your setup is alright and you can, it's denied before you, and then you can use this move to, become immune. You can do that. I will say this is an optional move. You don't have to run it. Even though this is I will say this is a phenomenal move. It's a really great move. But when you take a look at its speed, it can't take advantage of it. It just can't. Unless you run things like Demise, you're not going to take advantage of this unless you're really high level. Unless your level is really high, you're not going to be able to take advantage. And to be perfectly honest, it might actually be kind of irrelevant because all the deniers are going to be going first anyway. You might not even be able to take advantage of it. The Earth monsters, in all honesty, mostly all the Earth monsters stun, and this guy's already immune to stun. So why do you need to be protected by freeze? You can use this. This isn't again. You can use this move again, but gotta keep in mind, all water monsters could go first. You can use this move. You can use this move when your monster denies them. You can totally do that. That way you can't be denied in general. But if your deny is already that great to begin with, it's always spot on with the deny. If you have a frostbite, this move might not actually be necessary because you're denying the whole game at that point. You might not need this move. This move might not be necessary. It just might not be. I'm not saying it isn't necessary. It might not be necessary. You can totally choose an option. If you want better rotations, you can run Oomph. You can do that. But you do want all 3 of the, this is my personal set, I think I'd have you run all 3 moves, all 3 of skill groups 2, and have you run either Og or Oomph. Probably Og. Yeah, just looking at the two. Run Og. Run Og. It's just your stun move, just so you can stun them. So basically, for your basic rotation, you would either do, you'd probably start out with Humph, get immunity to freeze, and then they've already done their AoE shield at this point, I'm sure, so you can use Grunt. If the Earth Monster does go before you, you can use Grunt. If they've done the AoE shield, you can totally do that. That's totally an option. You can totally do that. And then after you do one of these two moves, you can follow up by, the other move. And then you can use Gur for the shield, just to protect you. You can use Og to stun. Then you should have your Grunt or your Humph again. You should be able to do the rotation. The rotation should be fairly simple and stuff like that. You should be able to rotate it. It does have a nice rotation in that sense. It's pretty good. It's pretty basic, and it's what's up. Is this a good monster? With the high, if you have high enough runes, yeah, this thing just demolish. This thing will demolish. If your runes are really high, you'll have a good monster. This monster is really good with high enough runes. Is this a good monster with really poor? It's not a good monster with really. If you have really poor runes on this thing, oh my god, you're not gonna do anything. Besides remove effects, that's all you can do is sponge at that point. So what runes would I recommend you run on this thing? 2 strengths and a speed. It's really weird me suggesting a speed rune on this thing. I usually just recommend a life rune. But you do want to run a speed rune. Just you can't be out. You want to be able to do your things. So you do need a speed rune to do those things. And plus with the 50% shield, you're pretty solid. Especially if if he is like a legendary warrior and you have like regen, you don't need the life rune. You don't need at least I don't think for this monster you don't need the life rune because his base life is high enough to take advantage of regen. So things to pair up with Demise, great, prioritize, you can prioritize you can do the, immunity to freeze and stuff like that, but I think even at that point, though, you've just killed the thing you were worrying about, so it might be irrelevant, it might be, I don't know, it depends on the depends on the situation. Demise is a really great partner with this thing. Totem would be so great with this thing, just because of the, constant power buffs. You can patch up his bad power stat, you can, give him more life to take advantage of his shield, if you pair it up with, like, regen and stuff like that, it's not a bad idea. I say Plymouth would work so great with this thing. With the terms of AoE, again, anything that does AoE regen, like Plymouth, we're talking about Plymouth, General Invarv would work great with this thing. I think General Invarv might be the best one with this thing, just to patch up the high stamina cost. He does have some, I will say his moves do run a high stamina cost, they do seem pretty high. You should probably do that. You probably want to run General Invarv with this thing, too. So yeah, I think the best team in general with this thing would be General Invarv and Demise. That'd be a really cool setup. The only thing you'd have to worry about at that point is dark and metal monsters, which are actually fairly common. Maybe that might not be the best setup, but or at least the best team setup. But yeah, that's everything you need to know about Olafur. Is Olafur cool and unique? Yeah, he's pretty cool and unique. Is he the best Earth monster? Might be debatable because I think like a lot of people were saying that I'd rather use Gorin, and that's totally fine. I mean, like that's totally fine. I don't know if they even mean that in a positive light, because Gorin is actually a really good monster. A lot of people still shit on Gorin. These people are jerks. Gorin, or at least, well, silly. I mean, they don't take the time to realize the competitive potential of monsters. Some of them don't. But yeah, this is, you can use this monster. This monster is usable. Patch them up with high-level runes and you're solid. So yeah, that's everything you need to know about Olafur. I'm Dib the Awesome. I'll catch you guys later.